So what's up, guys? I know this is really weird because like I'm not in my usual setup and I'm sitting on my bedroom floor, but I was in the middle of doing some research for a video. I was going to do a video called I Watch Surviving R. Kelly Too So You Don't Have To, okay? And I know the series has been out for some time, but unlike the first series, I did not follow it. The first series, I'll admit, I actively followed while it was being played on TV last year, because everything was so fresh, everything was so new, and I wanted to see all the evidence they had against him and everything. But once the arrest happened, I was like, okay, I don't need to put myself through any more like trigger content. I was like, you know what, let me just go ahead and watch this whole thing, because the same way how, you know, I don't want to be triggered, maybe other people are the same way, but they still want to be informed. So I was like, you know, let me watch it so they don't have to, and then I can break down what was going on in there. So I only got to 29 minutes and 44 seconds. I was writing notes for each episode and I only got 29 minutes into the first episode before I had to tap out. Now some of you guys may know that I have PTSD because I was sexually abused as a child, as well as physically abused, as well as emotionally abused, okay, and verbally abused. So for me to have watched 30 minutes of this and have to tap out as somebody who, you know, doesn't claim that victim mentality anymore, this shit's pretty bad. This shit's pretty bad. Like, it's pretty bad. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, bro, I cried. I had to get my shit together before I got on camera and wanted to have this conversation with you guys, because I backed out of this episode and I looked at the remaining episodes and I looked at the synopsis for them, and it just seemed like they were repeating a lot of information but then just going into detail. And me, like I said, I told y'all I'm a survivor. I could tell y'all the surface level stuff of what happened to me. I was sexually, emotionally, physically, and verbally abused as a child, okay? I could do that. I could say that, no issues. That's surface level shit. But where I start getting, you know, is when it comes to details. I don't share my details. It makes me uncomfortable when other people share their details. I don't like hearing the details. Those details actually trigger like flashbulb memories for me, and I don't like them. Because this series, this part 2 series, in my opinion, from the summaries that I've read, because again, I did not watch the whole thing, I couldn't even get past the first 29 minutes. It seems like they're repeating the same story and then going into details, like very perverse details, and I couldn't sit through it. I'm just gonna read what I wrote down, my notes for episode 1, and we're gonna get into the topic of this video and what I really want to talk about, because I'm not going to be talking about R. Kelly in this video like that, you get what I'm saying? Like, this isn't an R. Kelly video. I'm just letting y'all know. So if you clicked on this for an R. Kelly video, this isn't it, but I'm pretty sure you could find like hella of them on YouTube right now. But these are my notes. At the top of the paper, I wrote Mr. Henry and I underlined it a whole bunch of times. This is another detail that they added. I will be leaving out the perverse details, but this is a little add-on that they added. They told us a whole bunch of information we already knew about R. Kelly, and then added in this neighbor, Mr. Henry, that, you know, used to do things to Robert as a child. And instead of his mother taking legal action, they took a bribery from Mr. Henry because they were not financially okay, and that's just what they decided to do. Then they had R. Kelly's brother come on again, who was in the first season, who was like just defending the hell out of his brother. He comes back for round 2 and does the same exact thing, but this time decides to open up a little bit more with the perverse details, like I said. But basically what I jotted down was, he says Kelly's abuse story and he's trying to get people's sympathy. His brother keeps flip-flopping on how to treat predators. And that's where I wanted to talk, what I want to talk about. Because the main thing that a lot of people keep trying to say with not only just R. Kelly's defense, but a lot of other predators, sexual predators, loved ones of sexual predators, and, you know, people that care for sexual predators, or they're in their family, you know, or that are married to sexual predators. The main argument that they have is, well, this person was a victim at one point too. This person got touched on at one point too, and which triggered them to go and touch other people. My question for everybody that's watching this video right now is, can we sympathize when a victim becomes a predator? And my first thoughts was no. This is what I wrote down. This is my notes that I wrote down. Just because something makes sense doesn't make it okay. Just because it makes sense that if somebody were abused as a child, lost control as a child, felt helpless as a child, and wants to regain control by victimizing others, yeah, it makes sense, but it doesn't make it okay. You get what I'm saying? I just really wanted to talk about that though. Like, do we sympathize with a predator that was abused in the past? These type of people, the R. Kellys, the Harvey Weinsteins, the Bill Cosbys and shit, they're trendy to talk about. Somebody told me to react to the Golden Globes thing with that unfunny ass comedian who has been unfunny for years. I've never liked that guy, and I never understood why British people think Americans just like loud and rude when it has a British accent. Like, I've never thought he was funny. I was watching it and I tried to watch it with an open mind, and I know that it was supposed to be like a fuck you Hollywood ass thing, but to me all that shit looked like was he was just being a fucking clout chaser. Like, because you drop in all of these names and talking about, haha, I guess this is a hot topic right now, and it's just like, what we need to figure out is like, what now? What are we gonna do with these people now? Because yeah, it may be cute when it's celebrities and it may be trendy when it's celebrities, but the fact of the matter is that when this is happening to civilians and real life people, you know, not saying celebs aren't real life, I'm just saying when it happens to civilians, like, we don't get any like justice. We really don't. And then when we do get justice, they get released right back out to the streets. Like, when we tell people that we've been assaulted, we run the risk of running into these motherfuckers at the Walmart in a month. That's why that monologue made me pissed, because it's like, it's a joke to you, but this is real life for a lot of people. Yeah, you know, somebody has to wonder, I wonder if I'm gonna be on set with so-and-so, but it's like, you could easily strip someone from power that way, but it's hard to strip an everyday person when they have like this power, you get what I'm saying, and keep them in jail, especially because the systems do not help us to do so. Now, when you have somebody like your Bill Cosbys, your Weinsteins, your R. Kellys, who have multiple victims over years that can stack up, yeah, you can keep them in jail. But for me and for you, our predators are just gonna be out here. I saw this documentary called Untouched, and I liked it because it showed all perspectives. It showed the perspectives of people who used to be victims and now they're predators and now they're registered sex offenders. It shows women, it shows men, and that I really like that they showed it's not just that creepy old man around the street, okay? Like, it showed women, it showed men who are sex offenders. It also showed the systematic gray areas for leveling with like how to assign a sex offender. It showed the story of a Florida governor, I believe, or a Florida Senate in Miami whose daughter was sexually abused. Basically, he is the reason why in Florida we have those laws that sex offenders are not allowed to live by schools, sex offenders are not allowed to live by playgrounds, stuff like that. And that is why I do not have any sex offenders in my area. He's also the reason why sex offenders get labeled sex offenders for life here. And he is also the reason why we have a lot of homeless sex offenders in Florida, and why we have little, we call them chomo communities here. And it's basically like trailer parks, and that's where they all live and keep them separated. So you get the point of view from the governor, the Senate's daughter, other victims. You get the point of view from people who are sexual predators. You get the point of view from people who are family members of predators and how it affects their lives. And watching that, really with that well-rounded perspective and just watching it, it was just like, okay, I still don't feel bad. I can't, like, I don't know. And it's hard for me because I try to be such an open book to other opinions and point of views, but I just feel like it's hard. I can't sympathize. I can't, because it's a decision that you've made. And then there's a reason why we have Romeo and Juliet laws. Like, You could say that Florida has the strictest laws when it comes to sexual predators, but we do have Romeo and Juliet laws. If you're called a sex offender, you were doing some shit like that. You were doing something that you had no business doing, because there's Romeo and Juliet laws in place. If you want to be a legal creep, I guess you can. If you got that title and you live here, bro, I just know that you did something you had no fucking business doing. What we need to talk about is, what are we gonna do with these people when they're done serving their time? Like, are they gonna come back into society? Like, should it be like in Florida where they live in these little communities? But you know, when they live in those little communities, that's when the family members start feeling some type of way. But I feel like the communities work, but they do say statistically by moving them around, it doesn't prevent them from re-offending. That's why I'm like, what can we do to stop it? Like, what is the real justice here for everybody, not just famous people and associates of famous people? What is the real justice here for me and for you? What can be put in place to ensure that if I go to the police and I tell them that something happened to me, that this person's not gonna get out of jail in a month or two? Those are the things that we need to be talking about, instead of all of the celebrity scandals and shit. We need to be talking about the fact that these people with all this money can get behind our laws and do all these loopholes. Broke motherfuckers can do the same shit. Watching that shit, I cried at first, but that shit made me mad. It pisses me off. The whole point of the Me Too movement was not this. And I like how they are incorporating the originator of the Me Too movement. I love what she stands for, because it's like, she makes me have to check myself sometimes, because I'm very open-minded when it comes to a lot of things, but when it comes to sexual predators and rapists and people, anything to do with kids, period. I'm not trying to cry, but I'm getting pissed, because it's just like, I think about certain shit and I just want to execute them in my brain. She really forces you to sit back and look at forgiveness and think about forgiveness. It's just like, sometimes when I see like these predators and shit, whether it's on the big screen or whether it's on the small screen, or whether it's they getting their ass beat in the neighborhood or some shit, or I see them out world start getting their ass beat, it's like that 7-year-old girl hops out of me and just starts like, you know that meme where that guy is in front of the fire with the glasses, the hibachi girl, he's just like, yes! Like, that's me. I can't help it. I want to crucify these motherfuckers. So maybe I'm not the one to be having the conversation. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. But I just needed to get that off my chest. That's all I have to say. I just had to get that off my chest. These are the questions that I'm gonna leave y'all with. What should we be doing with these people? Do you feel like people are starting to take the Me Too movement, as well as sexual abuse and assault, as a joke and as a clout statement? Just like the name Jeffrey Epstein, whatever the fuck his name is a buzzword in Hollywood right now, and it gets you clout. As well as on the internet, it gets you clout to say Epstein didn't kill himself. Like, do y'all feel like people are now just talking about the Me Too movement and shit like celebrities doing it for clout and not to bring awareness? Because I feel like we're going down that road personally. Do you guys agree, or do you think they're being genuine? I just feel like they're just trying to be edgy and stir the pot. Do you think that we should sympathize for predators that were once victims themselves? Let me know in the comments below. Just to go back to R. Kelly before I go, some of those girls are predators. A lot of them are very obviously spotted as predators, as people have called them out. And I don't sympathize for them personally. But those are the only girls that I do be side-eyeing and shit, because like I said, do we sympathize for predators that used to be victims? And yeah, I'm done talking about this. I'm sorry guys, I didn't want to end the week like this. I don't know. I'll talk to you guys later. Please be safe. And if you ever need to talk to me about anything, you can always DM me or hit me up in the forum. Sorry to anybody that got triggered watching that fucking R. Kelly series, because I know I fucking did. I couldn't do it. I would like to see all you guys' answers below. I'm sorry I keep rambling. I will see you guys next time. Bye.